Hello everyone. Today, let us talk about the hidden cost of constant stimulation on our well-being and on our sense of self. Now, let me begin by saying that we live in a world of constant stimulation. Stimulation that comes to us from email messages, notifications, content getting liked, Instagram likes, and so on and so forth, right? Including text messages and WhatsApp and whatnot. At any given moment, something is asking for our attention, rather demanding attention by showing up on the screen and making the screen lit up. And most of us have adapted and normalized to this hyper vigilant state of always being on. We have now this instinct that we must respond quickly, actually almost immediately. Now, we switch tasks easily and almost compulsively. Like, for example, you are eating and you are enjoying what flavors you have from the food you prepared. Suddenly, there's a WhatsApp message, and the attention shifts, and the focus goes to what is the context or the emergency or the stimulus I'm getting from a WhatsApp message. Now, this puts us in a situation where we stay always on, never shutting down. Now, it feels very efficient, or rather, I've seen on social media people say, the hustle is on. I'm juggling these messages and I've got 5 people, I'm managing this remote team, I'm doing this, I'm looking at my device and I'm talking to my AI and all of that stuff. But something quieter is happening underneath all of this. Not in your schedule, but in your brain, right down to the neural fabric of the brain. See, the brain was not designed for continuous stimulation. It was designed for a rhythm. Or rather, another way to think about the brain actually is that the brain is a rhythm keeper of your life. How you breathe, how the organs regulate themselves, how the immune system functions. Brain is an organ that is designed for rhythm. Brain is also designed for periods of deep engagement and then periods of recovery, periods of depth of experience, of learning, and then space to assimilate, to become sharper, to grow wisdom. What we have now is constant interruption and no recovery. And over time, that really begins to change how our system functions. The hidden cost of constant stimulation is not just distraction, it is the erosion of depth, real depth. Look, if you're constantly going from one thing to another, where is the time to sit deeply and nurture some original deep insights? In work theory, we call it doing focused, deep work. Every time your attention is pulled away by a notification or a message or a thought, the brain has to completely reorient. Think about it like this: it has to reload to the context that you're now attending to. Now, this reloading is not like a device that it's instant. There is always a residue left after that reloading. And there is a long tail of cognitive residue, of unprocessed information, unfinished loop, neural connection that were charged but not fully assimilated. In simple English, I can say there is a part of your attention that remains where you just left. So even when you return to the task, you are not fully there, because half your attention is on something, half is an exaggeration. 1/50th of your attention is on your Instagram, another 50th is on your food, another 50th is on your email, etc., etc., etc. Now, take a moment, multiply it across a whole day. You have dozens of interruptions and dozens of partial returns to the task at hand. Think about it like a computer with many windows open, or a mobile phone with many apps open. So in the background, a lot of cognitive resources are being consuming. A lot of energy consumption is taking place constantly. And what you get is a mind that's always active, but rarely settled and almost never silent. Let me say that again. A mind that's very active, always active, rarely settled, and almost never silent. Always processing, but rarely clear. Even when truly at rest, there is lack of clarity. This is why you can be busy throughout the day and still feel like nothing really got done, nothing really moved. I mean, sometimes I say it's like running very fast on a treadmill. You feel like you're doing a lot, but at the end, you end up where you started. There is no real progress. And this continuity is what constant stimulation destroys. Now, there is another layer to this. Simulation is not neutral. Each interruption carries a small reward, a message, a new piece of information, an Instagram likes, a shift in context. The brain begins to associate the interruption with newness, with novelty, and novelty with reward. So every time something new arrives, you feel like, wow, something nice has happened. And brain slowly starts getting addicted to that stimulation. So, and over time, something subtle happens. You don't just get distracted, you begin to seek distraction. Not because you lack discipline, but because your brain has literally been trained to prefer stimulation over silence. Just take a moment. How many minutes can you go without looking at your phone if you're not doing anything? How many minutes in a meeting are people present without looking at their email or without looking at their phone? It just makes people uncomfortable. And now, when there is no input, something feels off. There is a kind of restlessness, there's a kind of impatience that something that should be present is missing. There's a need to check something. Now, this is not particularly a personal feeling. I mean, it's behavioral psychology 101. It's conditioning. Actually, let me make a joke for psychologists. It's classical conditioning. This is where meditation becomes an essential life skill. Not as a break from stimulation, but as a counterbalance to it. When you sit in stillness and nothing is happening, nothing is its own beautiful experience. No input, no novelty, and no reward. At the first, the brain obviously resists because it's not used to it. Let me say, brain is like literally confused by it. What is this nothing space? What is this silence? It's so loud. And it reaches for something. It tries to move. But if you can stay in the moment, something deep within you begins to reset. Your attention stabilizes and it begins to rest. The need for constant communication, the need for constant input softens. And the system begins to remember, what is it like to feel undisturbed, to be silent, to be deeply at peace within you. And when you return to work, you notice the difference. Just about an hour ago, I was meditating with someone just for 10 minutes. And when we were done, he said, wow, it feels different. That was just 10 minutes, And you notice the difference. You can stay with any one thing that you're doing in your life longer. You can go deeper in it. You are less distracted by each and every interruption. There is more space between stimulus and response. Your mind responds rather than reacts. It is not about being less productive. It is about reclaiming depth, especially in a world that is designed to fragment all kind of depth. It is also, by the way, about creating cultivating creativity and silent intuition. See, the goal is not to eliminate stimulation. It will not happen. We just live in a world that's hyperstimulated. That's just not realistic. The goal is to change your relationship to all the stimulation and interruption from the environment, to be able to engage without being pulled in that direction, to focus without constant effort of trying to stay focused, making focus a quality you have, not a battle you must win. To move through your work throughout the day without losing your center every few minutes. Because in the end, the real cost of this stimulation is not really distraction. It's the gradual loss of your ability to be fully present with anything, including yourself, your family, your loved ones, your relationship, your hobbies, anything. And meditation, when done correctly, gives you the ability to come back to this present moment where you can expand your awareness to fully take in where you are, how you are, what are you engaged with, and how to go deeper. And your experience of your work, of your life, of your family, of your relationships, even of eating and exercising completely shift. Because these distractions that are coming at us in point blank range do not anymore automatically pull us to react. And we can mindfully respond to them when we are ready. So if there is one lesson to take back from this whole conversation is meditation gives you the ability to mindfully respond to constant stimulation from the environment rather than being addicted to reacting to it. And as a result, you harvest peace, you harvest depth, you harvest presence and moments of connection that feel so natural that life feels like the way it was meant to be. Or as one of my close ones says, life feels like a holiday. You are at peace and you are in connection.